I'm Laura McNamara at the 2026 Fuel Ethanol Workshop here in St. Louis, Missouri. Joining me now is Tad Hepner. Can you go ahead and introduce yourself for us?
Yeah, my name is Tad Hepner. I'm the Vice President of Strategy and Innovation at the Renewable Fuels Association.
Excellent. And you were moderating today a panel on optimizing fermentation performance through sorghum utilization. So can you just kind of give us an overview of the key takeaways and what people could learn about when they attended?
Yeah, the original premise is the RFA has a number of ethanol producers that utilize sorghum on a regular basis in their fermentations along with corn or in place of corn. We started to ask the question about can we optimize the performance of the fermenter for cellulosic ethanol, so the in situ fraction. Sorghum naturally has slightly higher fiber than corn, and with the D3 and the D6 spread, we were wondering if we could optimize total fermenter value with the increase in cellulosic ethanol.
And how did that analysis, what came out of it?
Overall, pretty good. There was a number of things that came out of that. One of them was, yes, you can increase converted fraction, and then depending on the difference between a D6 gallon, a regular starch gallon, and a cellulosic gallon, there's maybe some opportunity to increase total fermenter value. Also, we saw some really interesting things with regards to starch. Sorghum has slightly more soluble starch, which often leads to a little bit better starch fermentation as well.
Okay, great. And I feel like a lot of times ethanol is synonymous with corn. So is there a lot of awareness about this sorghum aspect?
Yeah, in various parts of the country, sorghum is a regular feedstock in a lot of places. When you get down into Kansas, western Kansas, a little bit down into Texas and Oklahoma, that crop just grows a little bit better in a more arid condition, and those folks utilize that instead of shipping corn from up north or from farther away. They're able to maximize value through a starch discount because it has less starch than corn and therefore is sometimes a little bit cheaper feedstock. And then logistically, it makes sense to use a local feedstock as well.
And how has your experience at the conference been going so far?
Overall, really good, really great. The industry has a ton of momentum with things like 45Z. There's a lot of producers that are taking advantage of that. They're looking to become more efficient, and when you become more efficient, your CI score goes down, and therefore you're eligible for other opportunities throughout the world, even for export as well as some of the things that we're looking at with regards to E15. There's a lot of effort going towards that right now. We just had E15 pass in the House, and now we're having conversations about what it's going to take in the Senate to go ahead and finally get, instead of just waivers, finally get E15 to be a year-round fuel, as well as opportunities in maritime. So when we look at exports have been going up for the last number of years. I think 2 years ago it was 1.9 billion. Last year it was 2.2 billion, and this year we're on record or on pace to even do more than that. And we think the next opportunity could be maritime, which is the use of ethanol in large transoceanic ships to allow even more exports. The interesting thing about exports, and the listeners will definitely know this, and it will resonate, it's a whole gallon of ethanol. When you export ethanol, it's a whole gallon. Instead of just one ethanol gallon attending to 10 gallons of fuel, which would be E10, the whole gallon gets shipped, and therefore exports are going to play a huge outsized role in the industry going forward.
And then hopefully with the recent analysis with Section 301 on Brazil, you can get another player back into the game because Brazil was purchasing our ethanol, and then they placed tariffs on it. And so Canada has been our big purchaser, but we're hoping to get Brazil back.
Yeah. Literally hoping to get Brazil back. There's been always kind of a love-hate relationship with that. They'll buy ethanol from the U.S. and then export their ethanol to sometimes the United States or other countries. And so with that, we're really hoping to finally play nice and be able to move forward in a better business and trade relationship.
Great. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, just again, I just want to emphasize that the ethanol industry is experiencing some tremendous momentum with different events throughout the world. I think we're finally beginning to remember why the RFS was originally passed, and that was not only for energy security, but energy dominance throughout the world.
And it's kind of a bright spot in agriculture because at the beginning of the year, I attended a lot of conferences, and the big talk was just about how farmers across the board were feeling the squeeze on many different fronts. It's good to hear that on this front, at least, there's some great news.
Absolutely, we're tremendously hopeful and excited for what's to come.
Thank you so much for your time, Tad.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm Laura McNamara at the 2026 Fuel Ethanol Workshop in St. Louis, Missouri.